You got Carmelo Anthony. How the hell are you going to give him away for a box of cookies? Please explain. I need help, Max. You ain't getting a superstar for him. He's not a superstar. You trying to tell me that? Who's the superstar? Yeah, Blake Griffin is. A superstar? Really?
That never gets old. What's up, everybody? Welcome into another hour of First Take. Thank you so much for being with us on a Friday. Stephen A. is off today. He is being honored at his alma mater, so congratulations to him. Don't worry, Will Kane is here. And, of course, your boy Max Kellerman. Max, what are you hot on for hour number 2?
I mean, plenty of NBA, of course, Boogie and New Orleans and all that. But NFL, too. Tom Brady, why? Adrian Peterson, no. Colin Kaepernick, yes. We'll explain coming up. Hour number 2, First Take right now.
About last night, Demarcus Cousins made his Pelicans debut, and he filled up that stat column with 27 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, and 4 blocks. But it came with an all-too-familiar result, a 30-point loss to the Rockets. Cousins, how you feeling?
Well, it's obvious we're not used to one another. We kind of, cater to one another instead of just playing our own game. I didn't expect to come in and, win a championship. Houston's a very good team, very seasoned team. They have their identity, and we're trying to find ours right now.
Max, is this 30-point loss a sign of things to come for Fire and Ice?
No more than if you write a paper in school, the first draft is what you're going to hand in. I mean, let's remember when KD went to the Warriors early this season, they got blown out by San Antonio. You want to replay that game? The fact is, when you try to integrate a major, especially offensive piece onto a team, incidentally, it's not like they were clicking on all cylinders before the trade. New Orleans isn't a very good team. But when you take a team that's not very good in the first place, try to integrate a major new piece who basically plays the same or very similar position as your best player already plays, you're expecting it to look like it's a finished product. There's an old expression, never show a fool half a job. This is half a job. A lot of fools are going to think that this means bad news for the Pelicans. They keep Boogie Cousins. I expect good things from him and Anthony Davis.
Let me be that fool. Should I be that fool?
Apparently. It's up to you. Maybe you are.
Well, I think you're looking at the wrong box score. I mean, you want to know the answer to this question, whether or not this is a omen of things to come, a sign of things to come. I think you should look at this box score. Kings 116, Nuggets 100. I think you got your answer right there. Kings have found addition by subtraction. Pelicans have found subtraction by addition. Now, I'll grant you one game does not tell us where the Pelicans are going to be, at least not in terms of 30-point blowouts. But there was a guy that used to work here that popularized a theory called the Ewing theory, that you take away a star player and suddenly teams get better. That's Bill Simmons, his theory. I think you're seeing this play out when it comes to the Sacramento Kings. Demarcus Cousins is undoubtedly a very talented player. Nobody can score and put up box scores like him without being a talented guy. But that's not the end. That's not the end of the story. Theory and box scores are not basketball. You have other elements. And Ryan Russillo, who hosts a show here from 1 to 4 on ESPN Radio, has pointed this out. He's watched Boogie almost all this season, and he's seen play after play after play, from inbound passes to defense, where Demarcus Cousins just decides he's not going to play. Now, I'm not saying he did that in New Orleans last night, and I'm not saying he does that every game. But that is the kind of player that the Pelicans have added. And while in theory it's nice to zig while others are zagging, while in theory it's nice to add 2 twin towers with Anthony Davis and Demarcus Cousins, the problem with the theory is they're actual human beings. They're players. And Demarcus Cousins' past suggests the future will not be bright for the Pelicans, that it will not work out. It's not just 2 7-foot centers. It's Demarcus Cousins as one of them.
I think that it's a legitimate question as to whether Boogie Cousins is a winning or a losing player. That's a legitimate question, and the jury is out. The Kings are a losing franchise. The question was the same with Isaiah Will Thomas was there. Are they a winning or losing? Willie Cauley-Stein's not going to go for 30 and 10 or 29 and 10 every night. And if he does, by the way, God bless him. But the point is that the Kings have a losing culture, and it affected Isaiah Thomas when he was playing with Boogie Cousins. How much of that is Boogie? How much of that is the Kings? We're about to find out. I mean, we know they're the losers in every trade, right? If a team wants to unload a player they think hurts them winning, Masai Ujiri gets to Toronto, he gets rid of right away of Rudy Gay. Who does he find to take him? Obviously, the Sacramento Kings. They lose every trade. They don't know what they're doing, and so they don't know what they're looking at. And the owner is, insane about what he thinks is going to make a good team. At any rate, we're going to find out the answer to your question as to whether Boogie Cousins is actually detrimental to a team's success. But I think If you look at Isaiah Thomas, it suggests probably it's more the Kings. At least that's what the early returns say to me. Boogie Cousins' problem is not on the court. Yes, you can track every play and see at times. No, it's not. You can track every play and see at times, oh, he didn't play defense there, etc. You can do that for a lot of players. His style of play is not counterproductive to winning. His skill set is not counterproductive to winning. His age, his injury history, none of those things are counterproductive to winning. His attitude in the locker room might be. He may be a coach killer. He may be uncoachable. We shall see. But none of his actual game suggests that. His actual game suggests he is a monster, and you're putting him with another monster in New Orleans. And if Alvin Gentry can't make that work, that's on him as much as it's on Boogie.
I love it in theory. I really do. I wish nothing but goodwill for Boogie Cousins, but the evidence is overwhelming. Multiple Sacramento Kings coaches have said he's a problem. Multiple GMs in the NBA this trade deadline said they wouldn't take him in any trade. The thing is, locker room antics and locker room attitude aren't limited to the doorway. You don't cross the threshold and change it. When he gets on the floor, Max, you've played sports. I played team sports. You have players sometimes that are very talented, that can score, that can fill up a box score. But somehow, when it's all said and done, they make the team around them, despite what their score line looks like, they make the team around them worse. They make them worse.
The question.
And the Kings were better last night without him.
If it's not just the attitude we're trying to isolate in the locker room or unwillingness to be coached and those types of things, that's what the jury's out on. That we can agree upon. But if what you're saying is his actual play on the court hurts your team because he's filling up his own stat line and his team is less efficient, I completely disagree with that. I believe Boogie Cousins plays a style of basketball that can absolutely succeed in today's NBA.
It's like when Calvin Johnson left the Lions. They had a better year. Better
Viewing theory.
Yes. Trade deadline came and went yesterday with a lot of big names staying put. So some of the middle of the pack names who moved were Nerlens Noel going to the Mavs, Todd Gibson and Doug McDermott heading to the Thunder, and Lou Williams joined the Rockets earlier this week. Well, who's your biggest winner and biggest loser from the trade deadline yesterday?
Well, my biggest winner, this is going to sound so homer, but I think it is the Dallas Mavericks. I think trading for Nerlens...
It's homer.
You think it is homer?
No, it's all good. Keep going.
I mean, you take a top young prospect in the NBA and you get him for virtually nothing. I mean, the Mavericks gave up Justin Anderson, who has some promise, Andrew Bogut, who wasn't going to play in Dallas, and 2 second-round picks. But the upside you get with Nerlens Noel, I mean, you need franchise players to win in the NBA. In order to get them, you have to be picking at the very top of the draft or lure one in free agency or simply hit the lotto. What the Mavericks did is buy a lotto ticket with Noel. Will he pan out? Will he be the guy that was so heralded coming out of college? We'll see. There are promising signs right now. But you have to take that kind of gamble if you want to reboot your franchise. And by the way, my biggest loser, Max, and I think you agree with me on this to some extent, is the other side of that trade. It's the Philadelphia 76ers. This is embarrassing. I know that you and I agree on this. I believe in the process. I believed in Sam Hinkie. And I think the worst thing you can do is halfway into a process, blow it up. Halfway in.
Yeah, Hinkie may be an example. I agree with you about the Sixers. Hinkie may be an example of a guy who is aiming too long and not shooting, and maybe some of that is justified.
He was doing it.
He built the resources of the Sixers up to absurd levels.
Yes.
Absurd levels.
And you traded them for Justin Anderson and a couple second-rounders.
It's unreal. Colangelo made such a boneheaded trade last night. So I agree with you. They're the losers because they gave up an asset, got nothing back. It was stupid. It was a stupid trade. However, I don't know that the Mavs are the biggest winners because I don't see Noel, and I think most people don't, as a franchise-altering cornerstone type. He's a good complementary player. Maybe he's a Tyson Chandler-ish type player who's really good. That could be even an all-star some years, but not like one of the 2 best players in the nucleus of a dynasty or something like that. So while the Mavs did win the trade, I wouldn't say they're the biggest winner. The biggest winners, we just argued about this, New Orleans gave up nothing to get one of the 10 best players in the world, at least in terms of his skills and talent and age and all that, and size and injury history, in Boogie Cousins. It remains to be seen how effective he is. And then Houston got Lou Williams, made themselves a lot better, also without giving up much. They get out of a year of Corey Brewer's contract. They gave up a late first-round pick. They did very well. But the real winner, I agree Sixers are the loser, the Golden State Warriors. Because they are, if the status quo remained, the Golden State Warriors win. Because they're the best team in the NBA by quite a bit at this moment. And if none of your rivals significantly improve, Darren Williams to the Cavs, a great pickup for the Cavs. They give up nothing and they get a little better. That's no doubt. But it's a little improvement. When no one else, when you're in a category by yourself, at the moment at least, and nobody else takes great strides toward you, you're the winner. So the Warriors, in fact, are a winner. And I would also argue, by the way, and we argued about it earlier in the show, the Celtics are also a winner because they didn't push their chips to the middle of the table before it was time.
Winning is standing pat. Winning is doing nothing. No, I don't subscribe to that. No.
If you have a lead.
No. And by the way, I think the Cavaliers did make ground up on the Warriors. I think Darren Williams is an extremely underrated pickup. Darren Williams was averaging 13 and 7. He gets hurt now and then. But 13 and 7, by the way, I think he's one of the tops in the league in points created per possession. I saw Williams play this year for the Mavericks. He's not the guy that everybody thought he was with the Nets. He's not a superstar, and he's not a bust as a superstar anymore. Now he is simply a good contributor on a team that can win.
Yep.
Getting 13 and 7 on the Cavaliers, adding that, now will he get 13 and 7 with that team's a different question, but what it shows is he can significantly contribute to a title contending team. The Warriors lost ground yesterday. They lost ground to the Cavaliers. No way can you call that winning.
You know who believes that? Paul Pierce, by the way. Side note, please check out his Twitter. He went in. Max, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I would say that the Cavs did get better primarily because they gave nothing up for Darren Williams. And Darren Williams, it's not about 13 and 7, Will, and I'm not saying that you think it is, but it's about a backup point guard who can run your offense so LeBron and Kyrie can take a rest and who can create, as you mentioned. And so it's a nice pickup for the Cavs. But even with a backup point guard, like had they kept Dellavedova, the Cavs would be underdogs against the Warriors. It's not enough. The Warriors are very likely to win a championship this year once they added KD. So something more dramatic had to happen than just a backup point guard for the Cavs. Although I know I was espousing the point of view, the Cavs really need a backup point guard, and they got it, and they didn't give anything up. So I would categorize them as a winner. But ultimately, does that make up the ground between them and the Warriors this year? No. So if you have a lead and you go into prevent defense and it's working, yeah, you're winning.
I think we found our point of departure today. Okay. Max likes status quo.
Yeah.
I like the fire.
Okay. On that note,
I like status quo when you're in the lead.
We'll move on. Coming up, Draymond did what Draymond does last night, kicking and screaming, and he was a big part of the Warriors' win over the Clippers. But is his emotion really a good thing for the team? Plus, Colin Kaepernick certainly had an interesting season for the Niners. With a new GM and new coach in charge, should they give him another shot? Stay tuned for that.
If you got Carmelo Anthony, how the hell are you going to give him away for a box of cookies? Please explain. I need help, Max. You ain't getting a superstar for him. He's not a superstar. You trying to tell me that? Who's the superstar? Yeah, Blake Griffin is. A superstar? Really?
That never gets old. What's up, everybody? Welcome into another hour of First Take. Thank you so much for being with us on a Friday. Stephen A. is off today. He is being honored at his alma mater, so congratulations to him. Don't worry, Will Kane is here. And, of course, your boy Max Kellerman. Max, what are you hot on for hour number 2?
I mean, plenty of NBA, of course, Boogie and New Orleans and all that. But NFL, too. Tom Brady, why? Adrian Peterson, no. Colin Kaepernick, yes. We'll explain coming up. Hour number 2, First Take right now.
About last night, Demarcus Cousins made his Pelicans debut, and he filled up that stat column with 27 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, and 4 blocks. But it came with an all-too-familiar result, a 30-point loss to the Rockets. Cousins, how you feeling?
Well, it's obvious we're not used to one another. We kind of